I tell you what, the day is pretty warm. It's quite windy, quite cold this morning, but it has warmed up. Now I've just been shopping at the local Sainsbury's and just picked up a couple of things for something to eat a little later. So now, rather late in the day again, I'm going to go off and find somewhere to paint for the rest of the afternoon, and then we'll park up and we'll see what happens. Okay guys, well, I gotta say I have been driving around a little bit too long, and I was getting a little bit fed up with that. And everywhere I went, there was a couple of really nice places that I wanted to stop, and I just felt that I couldn't. It was unsafe. I couldn't fully get off the road, or if I could, it was on a really steep angle, and it wasn't safe for either me or other vehicles using the road. So I just carried on. But I've come back down on the Romney Marshes, and I've stopped just outside of a little village called Newchurch. Now it's a very quaint little village, very old one, and I'm just on the outskirts of it because the road is quite a nice leading in windy road, and there's a couple of old cottages at the end, and there's a lot of stuff that I'm going to leave out, but I fancy doing a little urban type sketch of the situation. And the idea today was to get out and use a new setup, a new lightweight setup that I have developed. And I will confess that the idea is not my own. I saw somebody else who bought a proprietary type of product from somebody, and I felt, well, the only bit I'm really interested in is the bit that I'm going to show you. So I created my own, and you'll see that in use and in the fullness of whatever. So let's get on and we'll talk about urban sketching at Newchurch. Let's see what happens. Catch you all soon. Okay, so here I've got all my little bits and pieces. I've got some brushes, and I've got ink, and I've got tape, I've got a spray bottle, I've got extra clips, I've got an eraser, black ink, all these different things that I want and might need when I'm out sketching. I have my water, and complete with magnets it seems, which wasn't meant to be the case, I can assure you. But what I want to do is a little scene ahead of me, and I'll put the picture of that up for you to see. Now the idea of this little kit here was all centered around this piece of board. Now the one that I've seen is a piece of, I don't know what the material was, but quite a lightweight material. This is quite a strong material. This is like a piece of grey perspex that I used as part of some of my grey palettes for oil painting. That way I get a very neutral colour and mid-tone grey. So that's why I picked it. But this is just an offcut that I've used to make this little device. Now, as I said just now, I had extra magnets here that were all doing a job, and unfortunately between bringing it out today and unpacking it, some of them have come adrift. So I do need to find a much stronger bond for the magnets on this plastic, but that shouldn't be too difficult. What I'm going to do now is show you how it all works. So fairly new sketchbook. This is a Moleskine watercolor sketchbook that I started the other day. There we are. There's one I did in the car park when my wife was shopping just the other morning. So that's just a little sketch of actually Waitrose car park, would you believe? Okay, so the idea of this is to take this board and feed it between the parts of the sketchbook like that. Now if I'm going to use the other side of this pad, which I'm going to go right the way back so it's supported. And then you put the whole of that in there. You put one clip. You can use bulldog clips, you can use those papery clips. These are just some cheap clips that I happen to have, and they're doing the job quite nicely. One on the other side. That's that. Now the idea also is now to have my water on here with one of those little oil painters mineral spirits and things like that. It contains water, and they are pretty watertight. I wouldn't totally rely on it, but they're pretty watertight. And then I've got a couple of my watercolor brushes in here, my little travel brushes from Rosemary. I have got my palette there. I'm just going to move that up to the end and that to there. So I've got a nice little wedge shape for putting my tissue paper in, and the idea with the magnets here was just to hold this flat shut down, but hey ho, we'll live and learn. What I also did is I put a magnet on the bottom of this little bottle, and that okay, so I do need to find some glue that grabs better. This, as a little demonstration, isn't going that well, but hopefully you get the idea that that would sit on there quite happily, and I have done that. And you have got a nice way you can use a matchstick in there and draw without worrying about spilling your ink everywhere. But that hasn't happened today, unfortunately. So the idea being is once you've got it all in place, it's just easy to hold. You can sit or stand, you can sit with this on your lap, you can stand with it in your hand and do whatever you want to do. So that would be my plan. What I'm going to do is use a food nib or a food nib. This is the Hung Dian one, and the idea is that it's got a nib that is slanted about 55-degree angle, so you can get different types of marks. They're not all the same size. You can put it on that end, you can put it on the flat, you can turn it upside down and get a really fine one as well. So that's what I'm going to be drawing with. So I'm just going to stand clear, or at least I'm going to hold and rest this. Unfortunately, I'm looking straight into the sun, so that's not particularly comfortable. Okay, so I'm having all sorts of issues here with this because the light is so intense and I've got no way of subduing it, and I have no filters for the camera. So I've put the f-stop way up, and hopefully that's enough, and hopefully we can get something from this. So let's just do that. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to start putting in my lines for maybe across here, maybe a bit further over for my old cottage. And we can just see a little bit there on the chimney, a little bit coming down the side here, and there's a great big hedge. And I'm going to come back here, I'm going to draw a little thinner, that way I can come back in and excite the lines further along. Just want to suggest a few bits and limbs. That's all it is, really. I can use some paint to do that too. Now, what we have got here, though, and what really drew me to it, was the lovely lights and darks in here in shade, and then all the beautiful bright lights of the foliage, lots of ferny grasses way up on the end there, the lovely light from the grasses, and this beautiful light from the road in the early evening. So that's our sketch. I'm going to put this down for a moment. Okay, so let's hope that this is working colour wise as well. Clean water, some dirty water. I'm going to make a simple wash now of some cobalt blue into this mix here. A little bit of cerulean, a bit of cobalt. I can quite happily hold this, as I said, but I'm just going to get on and do the job. I'm going to come in with a bit of blue sky through the back here and let that settle down. And if you have got it on an angle, then it does help. So let's just bring that up a little bit more. And hopefully, I'm just worried that it's not going to be in focus. So we'll worry about that in a moment. Okay, so I've got a bit of blue on there, and I'm going to come in, I'm going to add some cerulean to my blue, making a bit of a purple colour, a bit more blue in there. But that is a little bit too purple, so I'm going to add in a little bit of yellow. Yellow is complementary, and that will kill off that purple a little bit. I'm going to bring that all the way through here. I want that a little yellower. I'm going to bring in a little bit of ochre into that mix, just to yellow up the building, because it is quite a pale yellow building anyway. So I'm going to bring that through there, take that all the way through there. It doesn't matter if I go over what will be the green, and it doesn't matter if I go up into this roof line, because that is going to be a darker value anyway. So clean the brush. I'm going to use some of that pale yellow as my limey greens, spring green grasses. Coming through here, going to bring that all the way down through there, like that. Bring it out through this part, and then it goes down the bank behind me where I'm standing. We've got a few lovely flowers here. I'm just going to suggest them with some of these sort of taps there. Going to clean that off, come back in with some yellows, and I'm going to come in with a little stronger yellow. So we've got, not going to really show up too much, is it? But it's going to be a token gesture that we have got some daffodil type things there. I'm going to wait for that to dry though. I'm going to put some darks into that. But while I'm waiting, I'm going to come back in a little bit of red, a little bit of orange or vermilion, just to lay that sort of warning sign into there. Indian red into there. I want to darken down this roof even more. It's gone a little bit pale on me. I'm going to bring that up into our chimneys as well. Take that all the way through there and there, off to the end behind that tree or that shrub of hedgerow, up into there, into that one as well. Now I think we're a little better for that. That works a little more. All right. Come back in here. I want to make a bit more of a violet colour of that. That's quite nice. All I want to simply do is to come across here and suggest, now it's a little bit too wet. So I'm going to wait. That's quite nice, but it's just too wet. So I'm going to wait for that. I want a bit of a crisper shadow coming across there. I'm going to put a little bit of blue, a little bit of that shadow into my village sign, which is now in shade. Still want to leave that little bit of light on top. That's all I'm trying to do. All right. Now I think everything else is pretty much dry on the road. So let's just come back in. Let's mix some of this blue down. Got some cobalt coming in. A little bit of alizarin in there. A little bit too much. A little bit of yellow just to knock that back a little bit. Now I want to come in with some fairly good suggestive marks of shadows across our roadway, and they are created by the trees, and you can sort of, the old roads on the marsh are sort of up and down all over the place, so you can create the look. You know, in the center they're a little bit higher because of the road wear from lorries and vehicles. On the side it dips down a little bit, but you get the idea. And I'm going to bring a few more this way. We've got that post that's coming through here. Let's get that in. Nice diagonal. We've still got some lines coming this way from our trees, lots of them. So I'm going to bring those through, all the way down through to the foreground. We're going to take some darks up into the grasses, but up here we've got quite a strong section of them through here. And then I'm slightly darker. For some reason the shadow of the pole there is somewhat stronger. So let's come back in, and I'm going to bring that through there and down through there. And it sort of ends somewhere there. That'll do. It's there, I think. I'm going to put in a very simple wash that comes through down the center of the road like that, just to give it that little sense of extra height in the middle. So we've got that built in. And I'm going to come in with a little bit of edge to this as well, something through there, around there, and just along the edge of the road. Same on that side. That sorts that out. And I've just seen a person walk past, so I'm just going to quickly, while I can, judging the height of them and the height of the building, just going to put somebody in there walking on the road like that. I'm going to give them a dog. Why not? A little dog they're walking along the road. Just gives that a bit of visual interest. Once this is dry, I might come in with a few extra lines just to sort a few bits and pieces out. But in the short term, I just want to come in now, bring some red and green together. I'm going to come in with that red colour, that lovely magenta. I'm going to use some of the green, the phthalocyanin green as well, just to bring that into play. And the idea of that is to come through here with a few of these shadows that are over the grasses here. All right, I think that's enough. I'm going to look at it once it's dry and see if I want to just add in a little bit more. The sun has gone over quite a bit, so these shadows have moved quite a lot, to be fair, but I think they're good. I think they work. What I haven't done, and I do need to do this, I'm going to come in with a bit of phthalo green, a bit of dark colour. I just want to put in that shade that is right in front of the house there, all the way up through there, and that just gives that road such a presence, such an importance. Bring that down through that post there, take that up. Yes, it just gives that extra little bit and isolates that grasses through there as well, which I said was important. That dark onto the light really adds the power to this light part of the grass through here. And anything else that is sort of lacking just needs pumping up a little bit. Now's the time to get it done. All right. This needs a little bit more as well. It's got a little bit pale. It's going to bring that in, make that more strong there, and disappears behind this hedge. And this hedge has gone ever so slightly pale. Let's come back in, add more colour. Nice strong dark, because we've got lots of shadows here. And now you can come back in and isolate some darks into here and create your flowers, your daffodils if you would like. And there's quite a strong shadow on this side of them, of course, where they are into the edge and the light is not getting to them. And join those two areas together. That works. A few clumps into the verge here. I think we're good. I think we're done. All right, I think the sketch is complete. I'm happy with it. My hands are frozen again. Yeah. So I'm going to call it a day on this, certainly. Pack up, set up, and maybe have a little bit of an early tea. I'm not sure what the time is right now. Yeah, it's about 5:25, so I could find somewhere else to go and just sit in the van with cameras on and see if I can't sketch something else from inside. It's just getting a little bit too cold now. Let me see, let me go somewhere else, let me see if we can find somewhere more interesting as well, and we may be able to do another sketch before I decide to call it a day. Catch you all soon. So let's get underway. Now all I've got in front of me, I'm just parked up, sitting inside, I'm looking out through here, and I'll put the photograph of this lovely old house with the hills behind it and a couple of beautiful old trees just to one side. So I'm going to put the house quite a low line through here of the fields. So this is where the fields are, and then we've got some beautiful late evening or low light shadows coming across this beautiful green field. So I want to put my building, my house, my old farmhouse, somewhere about there, I think. And then I'm going to start looking at just suggesting one or two little bits of shadowing coming from some of these trees. The sun is extremely low, and there are trees all the way through here, right up to where my van is parked, where Clarabelle's sitting. There's a lot. So that gives us a nice bit of interest at this point. Now what I haven't put in yet, of course, and it's extremely important, is the North Downs in the background. Now that there almost dissects the top of the hills, so I might just bring the hills a little higher and take that down through there. That means this tree has got to come up ever so slightly, a little bit more on that one. But there we go, that's the drawing, and I'm going to be using watercolour predominantly, so I'm going to pick out a few brushes. This is a small round brush. This is actually an old sable, to be fair, and I've got a thicker one. This is some of the Rosemary's Red Dot. This is a number 10 round. Okay, and let's just come across with our sky. Now I'm going to put a couple of clouds in. There are no clouds in this sky tonight, and there actually hasn't been any clouds all day long. But I'm going to put in a little bit of sienna just to suggest we've got a little bit of cloud going on late in the day. So I'm just going to put in, it's quite a dirty grungy colour. I think there's quite a bit of blue already in that mix. So I'm going to put a few colours like that and suggest our clouds. Okay, so I'm just going to put in this sort of green, this fresh green colour. I put in a little bit of the cobalt turquoise just to give it a slight more green, because it's got a beautiful light on it from the evening. I want to get that in, so I'm going to work fairly fast, and I'm going to skip over some of this, a little bit of dry brush, because that little extra missing the paper in places just adds a bit of sparkle to our fields. Just a little bit of light, picking up those pricks of colour, pricks of light, just here and there. You can feel the brush struggling because it is very, very dry. Call that a day, leave that to dry, and then we're going to come back in and we're going to start working on the background colours. Now our greens on the background need to be much cooler. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that lemony colour, and I'm going to come in with some lavender. It's a fresh colour and it's quite hard to get it going sometimes, but it does come nice. Beautiful colour from Daniel Smith. I've only just started using it, but I really am keen on it. I love it a lot. So it's quite a cool green. I've used a bit of cobalt, a little bit of lavender, and some of that lemon, that aureolin. And I'm just going to run that in as the field or the hill colour way up there on the side. I'm going to put in a bit of blue. I'm going to come over here, a bit of blue and a little bit of red. There we go. And that's going to be a better mix, I think. So we've got a bit of blue, cobalt, a little bit of our red, and a little bit more red maybe. Just going to come in here now and put in that dark bluish tint or colour to the roof there. quite dry brushed, quite a strong dark colour, and there's a little bit of light right at the bottom of it. So we're going to clean that brush out, pop back in with a bit of that red, and we're just going to come and excite that bit of the chimney there and a little bit at the end of the roof there, catching some sun. Not quite that strong, it's kind of a little bit heavy. I'm going to come back in with a bit of yellow in there, a little bit more water, just to lift some of that up, lift that up on the chimney, lift that one up on that chimney, and I think that works, gives a sense of light. So where next? Well, we're going to continue this dark theme. We're going to use the same sort of idea. We're going to come along here. We've got the bases of the trees, and I mustn't forget to leave that little bit of the house. I'm going to come through here with a bit of a scratch to suggest the bases of a tree, and that little bit of light from the house, and a little bit of dark from there's a big dark old tree behind this one actually. I'm going to suggest that there. I think that's what that line I left before was all about. I'm going to bring that little dark. There's a little robin. Haha! Oh, he's just found a little bit of food. There you go. Lovely little fella. Nice to see him. They are so not scared of us. They really are. They're so brave, these little fellas. Almost silhouetted in a way against that beautiful sky in the background. What I realise I haven't done is put any hill details in. I'm going to have to do a little bit of work on that before this painting is finished. But I'm just having a lot of fun with this to begin with, so I'm going to stay with this tree and build it out a little bit more. Just beautiful little shapes and forms being created. I do love this brush. I'm going to put a little link in the description underneath this video. It's one of Rosemary's, and if you want to get one, then by all means do so. And if you'd be so kind to put my name in capitals, Unbroken Paul Apps, on the affiliate link as you go to checkout, that would be great, because it gives me a little bit of thank you from Rosemary. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't pay any more for the brush for that. It just they give me a little bit of acknowledgement for promoting the brushes, which I'm very, very pleased to do. bring in a little bit of dark through there, bring a line or two of extra through there, and I'm just going to scratch in a few darks here that are just suggestive of more shadow. And then very deliberately, it's not in that tree, but it's in a tree near to me, I'm going to put in the suggestion of one or two rook's nests like that. Very deliberately, little areas. They nest in colonies, and they're called rookeries for those of you who are not aware. Most of you, I'm sure, are. Not trying to be rude. Just put a few in. That these are just a lot of rooks in here, and that gives me a good reason to paint a few flying around the scene at the end of the painting. All right, so I'm going to bring this line up through here, and one or two, getting a little bit on the dark side. Going to bring a bit of orange into some of that. I'm going to carry on the idea, bring a little bit of dark light and play around with some of these shapes here. Lots of warm colours through there, and just want to mix up some of the darks in here. The body of this tree is not quite where I want it, so we're going to bring a little bit more in there, make that a little stronger in the darks but richer in the orange. My camera is almost running out of battery power. If I don't move fast, then I'm going to lose out to it. I'm going to come in with a bit of Payne's grey now and a little bit more blue. I want to cool down the dark. I'm going to use the same colour. I just want to suggest the darker windows on this building now. Maybe a little cooler than that, maybe a little bit of lavender in there, just to take the just take the power out of the dark. A little bit of dark in there, and in that one there. I'm going to leave it alone at that. I don't think we need to do any more. Alright, so now then, let's come back in very, very quickly then and put in our green. So I'm going to use some cobalt turquoise. Like that. Very, very greenish colour, but it's a little bit on the cool side. I'm going to come in with a bit of lemon, the Boreolin. Just gives it a bit of an extra kick. I come through here and put that nice shadow look all the way along the top of the field there, like that. Now I'm almost out of battery and I'm going to regret, but I've got to just come in with a bit of dark into here and just put in a few of our crows, rooks flying back to roost the evening, like that. And one quick job that I have missed and I've got to attend to, I put a bit of violet to this green. This is very, very quick, very quick, because I've got no structures up on our hills and there are a load of them. So let's just put in a few cooler colours, very bluish colours, a little bit more lavender. I think we can just about get away with this before my battery expires, and it is about to. I just looked at it. There we go. Okay, got a little bit of information there up on the side of the hill. Through here a little bit more along the top, just to give a bit of definition to there, and up through here, and just bring in a little bit of information down the side of the hills like that. A little bit more through the back here, just little bits of information, that's all, just to suggest that there is the top to our downs. Okay everybody, well I do hope you enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun doing it. Now the light has gone, and just as I started putting some birds in, there is a whole load just flown through the scene. Lovely. It just vindicates putting a few in. Anyway, I had a lot of fun doing it. I do hope you enjoyed the process and got something from it. And I'm now going to pack up, settle down for an hour in here, cook myself something to eat. Hopefully this week I'm not going to burn it as I did last week, but I do hope you guys will join me soon for another adventure, van life artist, mobile studio in Clarabelle, when we go out and we'll do a plein air somewhere together. So I look forward to your company very soon. And if you have enjoyed this one, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and all those things, and also click that notification tab. It tells you when I'm uploading a new video. So yeah, see you all in the next one. Take care everybody, stay safe, happy painting, bye bye. Everybody, well that just about wraps up today's plein air adventure in my mobile studio, otherwise and better known as Clarabelle. Now I did 2 paintings, and I'm really proud of that fact, because neither of them was easy to make, not from the painting point of view, but moreover from the filming point of view. And part of these visits out right now are to iron out all the issues that I've got when it comes to working in the van, painting from the van, all the equipment that I need, and also the best ways to set the cameras up so that I can film them easy for you and easy for me, because if I make it too difficult it just becomes an absolute nightmare. And I got cold on both the paintings, but I think we got something from it. So I do hope also that the footage is usable, because as I say, the sun was so strong on the first one, I couldn't really tell if I had the aperture too low, too high, whether it was blown out, whether it was usable or not. So fingers crossed, I won't know that until tomorrow when I look at the footage, and all being well, you'll get to see that film. The second one, however, was a little easier, just a little bit more awkward, trying to get cameras set up in the van with the table and trying to make it all work. And I think I need to have a second lens with me so that I can make that process a little easier. Like I said, all these little trips out are little stepping stones trying to iron out all the problems. Now, if you're watching this and you do a lot of filming in your van for a van life vlog, or your YouTube video if you're a van life vlogger or a van life person, then why not get in touch with me? And if you have any tips and ideas and little bits of equipment that might assist me in Clarabelle for the future, I really would like to hear from you. But other than that, I'm just going to keep persevering, trying to work out all these little issues, iron out the bumps, and that will prepare me for bigger and longer trips away when I may be going to Cornwall or Scotland or somewhere. I've no idea where I'm going to go yet. I just know that I'm going to enjoy myself when I do, but I would like to go when I know that there isn't too many problems that I'm going to encounter when I'm doing it. Anyway, that's enough of this. I am going to close off now. I'm just going to put a little bit of footage of me cooking again. I hope I'm not going to burn anything this time. I'm going to be cooking the same sort of thing, but I hope the heck that I don't burn it like I did last time. So I'm just going to cover a bit of that and a little bit of B-roll, as it were, just to end this video. But I'm going to look forward to your company on my next adventure in Clarabelle, my mobile studio. And yeah, just going to see what happens. What I will say is, if you have enjoyed the content, then please give it a big thumbs up. And also, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, It has just changed direction. It is all about a mobile studio. It's my life in that studio, creating artwork en plein air or plein air studies, urban sketching, doesn't matter what it is, in Clarabelle. Staying away sometimes and not. But yes, if you enjoy that sort of content, then subscribe to the channel and also click the bell icon and the notification tab, and that will tell you every time I upload a new video. It's not consistently at the moment. I'm doing a few at the moment as time allows, but I will keep doing as many as often as I can in the future. So be assured they will be coming, but also click the notification tab and that tells you every time I upload a new video. In the meantime, don't forget there is my Patreon. If you want to get involved with that, there is an oil tier. There is tons of watercolor there, gouache too. So if you want to get involved with that, nip on over there, take a look at it. If you want to get involved, I'd love to see you there and help you out in the future. In the meantime, I'm just going to get on, cook myself something because it's getting late. And I'm going to wish each and every one of you happy painting. Enjoy yourselves. Take care wherever you are. Stay safe. Bye-bye. Nice green felt tea. Not burnt. That looks great. I'm looking forward to it. Catch you all in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye bye. Same mind.